Santa Cruz, California has become the nation's most expensive rental market, creating a major housing crisis and displacing many people. Amid this struggle, local artist Abi Mustapha uses the power of art to amplify the voices of those most affected.
I think there was a time where I didn't realize that my mission was representation. It was just something I was doing because I was so interested in how many different types of people there were in the world. Sometimes I make my art for myself, and sometimes I make my art for whatever I'm doing in the community. So I think it's really dependent on what's happening in the world, really.
Abi was selected as Housing Matters Artist in Residence through a grant from the Central Coast Creative Corps. This grant leverages art to engage the community and deepen an understanding of those who have struggled with housing.
The Central Coast Creative Corps grant has really enabled us to bring art to the forefront. We hope to bring some empathy, compassion, and understanding really to the community at large.
Tonight I'm going to try to talk about righting historical wrongs, and this is a really, really large topic, so bear with me.
On top of attending team meetings and speaking at community events, Abi hosted art nights and created an altar for the homeless memorial. Her most impactful project, though, was curating the Look Me in the Eyes art show at the Santa Cruz Museum of Art and History.
Look Me in the Eyes was a collaborative art show that I curated between local artists, a local photographer, and those with lived experience. And we had their portraits taken, we passed them out to local artists, and they did portrait art with those photos as references. And then we had a show at the Museum of Art and History where all of these pieces were on display. Look Me in the Eye was born out of a lot of different desires to connect people to our humanness and all the ways that we overlap, which are a lot more than all the ways that we don't. It's really exciting to see this many people here. The whole point of this show and the impetus was on being seen.
Abi brought together this amazing group of people, and then just hearing the experience of the people who had their portraits done, the storytellers, it was quite heartwarming.
The artist and I never got to actually physically see each other until the day of, and he spent hours talking to me on the phone and really getting to know like what I went through when I was homeless with the kids. I talked about the fire, and you could see that part of his painting, and like my love for honey.
It was a new experience. The vulnerability was something else. Andrew helped me become comfortable in that space, and yeah, what he came up with was gorgeous.
Just everybody here showing up and taking the time to come and connect with each other means a lot. It really does change us when we look each other in the eye. So if we can keep doing that and doing that more to people who we may not always look in the eye, it'll change you. So try it if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for coming. the core mission of Housing Matters and who they serve. If you could describe that to us just a little bit.
Yeah. So we work with our participants to empower them on their pathway to stable housing.
Abi continues her work with Housing Matters through her new podcast entitled Hear Me Out. In her first episode, she tackles the big questions, starting with a conversation with Mayor Stafford, Chief Impact Officer at Housing Matters.
Do you believe that we could end homelessness?
100%. I mean, I can see it. We can see ending veteran homelessness. Like, we can see that. And we can see not far behind that ending family homelessness. Housing is a human right is, it's the root of what we're doing.
Housing is a human right!
Housing is a human right!
Why am I up here again today? Why am I up here another year pleading for the basic rights to be housed?
When you have a housing crisis and exploitation, it affects everybody. It doesn't just affect the people that you see sleeping in tents. There's most of the people who are experiencing housing insecurity or houselessness are local people who have been here for years. So I think it's important to have grants like this because it certainly puts people in the same room that wouldn't normally be in the same room. I think art is inspiring on many levels for so many people. Everyone gets something different out of whatever creation you make, and you never know how it's going to touch somebody's life.